Hello and welcome back to the Birdcage. I'm Jack Kenna and I'm all by myself for a solo episode of the Birdcage where we'll preview Kansas State, one of the best rivalries in college sports. Big road test for the Jayhawks tomorrow as they take on Kansas State. Not an easy game. Going to K-State's never an easy place to play, but it's a little more comfortable knowing Kansas picked up a dominant home win against Iowa State on Monday. There was not a recap for that game because life has been a little crazy recently. But that doesn't mean recaps and previews will not go away completely. Was just unable to get one done in the week. Kansas picked up a 69-52 win against Iowa State on Monday in what was just a dominant defensive effort for the Jayhawks. Iowa State had no answer offensively and could not stop Kansas's better players. It was an impressive game for the Jayhawks, a game where they were able to hold most of Kansas or most of Iowa State under 10 points. It was an impressive defensive performance. Jefferson, Gilbert, Lipsey all eclipsed that with 11. They didn't shoot all too well. Held Iowa State to 30% from the field, 14% from three. You'll win most games when your opponent shoots 14% from three. Let's make that clear. Hunter Dickinson, Zeke Mayo, Dewan all scoring in double figures for the Jayhawks, but they had everything easy. 50% from three for Kansas, 47% from the field. It was a good day to be a Jayhawk on Monday. Huge home win to even out the series against Iowa State, making this game on Saturday look a lot make all of the fans a little happier going into Saturday. It's not going to be an easy game, folks. It will not be an easy game. This is a Kansas State team who is coming into the game with 4 straight victories. Yes, you heard that right. 4 straight victories from the team that's 11-11. They were 7-11 before getting 4 straight, which included road wins at Iowa State and at Arizona State. Impressive. They were able to win in a place where Kansas wasn't. This is a talented Kansas State team. They are. And right now they're playing their best basketball. Now, do I think this is a Kansas State team that can win the Big 12 tournament? Absolutely not. This is not one of Kansas State's better basketball teams, but they got dudes. Coleman Hawkins, Doug McDaniel, they can get it done. And they have shown that against quality opponents. Now, in that Iowa State game where they won, sure, there's a lot of reasons that was the case. Mostly because Iowa State was unable to get anything offensively. But that doesn't mean that it was a bad offensive game or bad defensive game plan from Kansas State. Kansas State knew exactly what they wanted to do and they did it. Defensively, they held Iowa State to 37% from the field. It helps when you also shoot 50% from three. But man, oh man, K-State came to play in Hilton and Iowa State was not ready at all. Kansas is going to have to be ready when they travel to Manhattan tomorrow. I'm filming this on Friday, February 7th, the day before the game at nighttime. We are a mere hours away from tip-off in Manhattan. This is going to be an important game for Kansas State. Do they have the power, the firepower, to get it done? I think Kansas can coast in this game. I think one of two things. Kansas is starting to click at the right time, where they will coast to a good win against a quality opponent. Or this is going to be a tough it out game against a rival who's won 4 straight, desperate for a win in what most K-State fans would consider their Super Bowl. This is going to be a tough game. KU is the basketball school. Kansas State has the Jayhawks number in football for many years now. But Kansas has primarily owned the basketball rivalry. A year ago, they beat us in Manhattan as well and has shown that they don't like losing on their home floor very much. Now, that hasn't necessarily been the case this year. This is a Kansas State team who hasn't played their best basketball this year. They've lost 4 games at home, but it's a tough team. It really is. Kansas State's a tough team, and whether you like them or not, Jerome Tang has been able to kind of ease the sail on his team this year. It wasn't looking pretty for him at the start of the season. They're able to pick up some good conference wins. They sit 11th right now in the Big 12. Kansas sits 4th, tied for 4th. Hasn't been the prettiest. It hasn't. But a win at Kansas State can change everything and change the trajectory of what this team had going forward. I think most Kansas fans were a little nervous about this game going into the year. It's hard to win a game at your rival's place. Especially hard when your rival is playing good basketball as of late. After Kansas State, the road gets easy for a little bit. Home against Colorado, and then you go on the road to Utah to play a Utah team and a Colorado team that just, quite frankly, don't have what it takes right now this season to compete in the Big 12 level. But Colorado did pick up a win against UConn, so that can just show you if you're not playing your best basketball, anything can happen. But I think they got 2 wins in a row before they take on BYU. So this Kansas State game can be a real vibe switch, mood switch, whatever you want it to be if the Jayhawks don't come ready to play on Saturday. Now, I think they will. I think Bill Self's going to have those guys ready to go. Kansas needs a big road win this year. Road wins in the Big 12 and just for this Kansas team in general haven't been very pretty this season or last season. They lost at Mizzou, heated rival. They lost to Creighton. This is an opportunity for them to get a huge win on the road against a rival and show the country that they're still capable of playing their best basketball. I think that's what's going to happen. I like Kansas by 5. I'll go 76-71. Jayhawks win. That's just my prediction. In fact, I'm going to go a little different. I think Kansas gets this win 76-64. I think Kansas just puts the clamps on K-State and is able to get a huge, huge road win in the Big 12. That is all I have for the preview against Kansas State. I will be back, hopefully, with a co-host to recap the game in the coming days. I appreciate you guys for listening, and I will see you later.